And whether it's a potential pet like those or a bigger wild creature, there is always a lot of determination to rescue animals here in Maine.
Recently, a rare encounter deep in the Maine woods sparked compassion and a call to action. News Center Maine's Griffin Stockford takes us to southern Aroostook County.
What really struck me was seeing it give birth in the middle of the road. That instantly told me that something is up.
Sean Purley is a logging supervisor with nearly 20 years in the field. He'd brought crews to Township TAR2 between Glenwood and Silver Ridge to open up some old logging roads when he came upon this scene. The mother was acting disoriented, head cocked off to the side, walking in circles. Typical signs of brainworm.
For the brainworm, the parasite itself, they're typically carried on snails, and snails end up on aquatic vegetation or leaves in the woods, and moose are herbivores. They eat that vegetation. Well, they end up eating the snail, and when they eat the snail, the larva hatches within their stomach, and the parasite eventually works its way into the nervous system.
She was sick yesterday. I hope that little guy makes it.
Even after 20 minutes, the sick cow wasn't acknowledging her calf, prompting Purley to find cell service and call the warden service.
Usually the mother tends right to it, tries to get it standing up to feed it, to clean it off. It hadn't been cleaned off. Very clearly was not a normal situation.
When Tyler showed up, obviously, the mother had walked off. And I really didn't know where she was because I stayed right there with the calf. So he gathered up the calf, and had placed it in his pickup. Wrapped it in a nice warm wool blanket. He turned the heat on. And he says, my main priority right now is to get this to the vet. The first 24 hours of birth is pretty crucial.
Leach consulted with state biologists and veterinarians before making the decision to euthanize the mother, potentially saving her weeks of suffering.
This job is a real roller coaster of emotions. And part of this is making decisions that are difficult, but for the best. I'm in this job to conserve wildlife, to protect what Maine has. I don't take pleasure in that, but it's no different than if, an animal gets struck by a motor vehicle. You don't want to let that animal lay there and suffer.
And while the calf lived a couple more days at the rehab facility before ultimately succumbing to pneumonia, both men are proud to have helped give the animal a fighting chance.
I appreciate the public support in this situation. I wish it could have been a better story, but it was not a wasted opportunity, and it wasn't for lack of trying.
If you see something that you think could help save a life, do the same. Make the call.
And that was our Griffin Stockford reporting.